Good evening, people, and welcome to Lead Judges TV. Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Lead Judges TV. I'm your host Dan Potts, I'm with Lead Judges, and I'm only gone and bagged Mr. Arsenal Lounge, or one half of Mr. Arsenal Lounge himself. Shane, how you doing, mate?
I'm very good. I'm very happy to be here. I'm very grateful for the invite. Thank you for having us. Unfortunately, Lev couldn't come. I don't know if Lee wants to tell everybody.
Well, I'll tell it. I don't care. You know what I mean? Just show me a picture. The poor lad's got a black eye. You know what I mean?
Apparently, football.
Well, you're playing football, so he says. I never knew he was playing football, you know what I mean? And I honestly don't know how you can get elbowed doing walking football. That's my answer to that. He could have still come on with a black eye or not. You know what I mean? Made him look a bit harder than what he normally does. So I find that very, very strange.
Yeah, so do I must say.
But I tell you what,
I have played football with him, Lev. Sorry, Lee. So I know what he's like in a football pitch. And
is he any good?
About this elbow business, I must say.
We'll have to see. I'll have to have a little look at this footballing thing, you know what I mean. So, well, at least I've got a bit of a dilemma here today. It's Halloween tonight, isn't it? Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So I've gone and got myself a load of chocolates, for Halloween. So I hadn't had no one knock on the door once. I'm gonna have to eat it myself now. Hey, unbelievable, isn't it? You know what I mean? Well, it's not one. Have you had anybody knocking on the door today? Not one.
No, to be fair, I've been at my parents' and they had literally my niece and nephew, and that was it. So
unreal, isn't it?
No one.
Unreal.
It is unbelievable. But
it seems like for the adults now. I noticed at the weekend everybody going out for parties and things like that and getting dressed up. It's an excuse for the adults, not the kids.
Yeah. Did you get dressed up?
That's all you see, innit?
I've seen some nice costumes as well. I have seen.
Did you get dressed up, Lee?
You did.
No, I ain't into all of that. To be fair, do you know what I mean? I think I'm more of a Guy Fawkes man. I think, if I'll be honest.
Yeah, likewise, man. Bonfire and fireworks for me over Halloween. But you can take your mask off, Lee, because we are alive. There's a little league table going on in the chat. Welcome to you all in the chat room. Hello to everybody who's listening on audio platform. Also, we've got first, second, third, fourth, fifth, and sixth already. And Tom is in the chat shouting, Vieira. What a start Patrick Vieira is having at Crystal Palace. It's been a fantastic weekend. League Judges, let's start with you. Last weekend was good, but this weekend keeps getting even better, mate. I was at the game yesterday.
Atmosphere was fantastic.
I mean, the best away game I've been to in a very, very long time. Not just because we won, but the fans were electric. And, I've been saying most weeks, haven't I, Lee, that the fans have really got up for these games, home and away. And yesterday didn't let the team down at all. It was outstanding. But the performance itself was fantastic. And it seemed again that we started off very, very well, going 2-0 up. If you do that every game, then we're going to do very, very well this season. I think this new formation's working, Lee. And this first 11, I'm really liking what I'm seeing. I'm liking what I'm seeing from individuals. I'm liking what I'm seeing from some of the new transfers that are looking to be great additions to this squad. But actually, what I'm looking at even more, mate, is the partnerships, particularly in the spine of this team. I'm talking about not just Ramsdale, who we're coming to because he was absolutely amazing, but Gabriel and Ben White, superb. Partey and Lokonga looking really good. And of course, we've seen Lacazette and Aubameyang now starting 2 games up top together, which I think is something we've missed in the last couple of years. So for me, Lee, it was great to see. What were your thoughts of yesterday's game, mate?
Yeah, I have to say, fantastic performance. That first half, I have to say, you couldn't ask for a better first half performance away from home than that. It had everything. It had the attacking side of it. There was a time when we had to defend. It was a perfect. I think all in all, it was a great away performance. I have to say that. There was just a couple of things, a little bit disappointed. People now going, about, are you Mikel in or Mikel out or everything like that. There's a lot of that going about, we've won or we were unbeaten on 8 games, we was on a horrendous run for 20 months. You know what I mean? So, I still think that there's, you don't have to be an in or out. You just got to be what will be, and that's where I look at it at this moment in time. The way I look at it from my point of view is, and I said months ago, let's see what he can do after 8-10 games, and then I've been more than impressed with what he's done over the 8-10 games. Now, looking on it, I'm not going to go overboard about everything and Mikel Arteta, because I look at it and I think that if we'd have beaten Crystal Palace and drawn to Leicester, that would have been okay. At this moment in time, what I said on points wise, we've exactly got what I said we was going to get. And if we can get to the Watford game with another 3 points, then it's fantastic. And then I will say, and I'm not going to be one of these people who say, oh, let's see what happens when he goes to Liverpool. As far as I'm concerned, Liverpool then is a free hit for him to see what happens, you know. But what he has done, and I give him credit for this, is that he's got himself on a little bit of a run. But also what he done, I think after that Crystal Palace game, there was a discussion between coaches and everything, and they changed their philosophy a little bit. All of a sudden, we weren't playing with the handcuffs on, which we've been saying for the last 20 months. There's been a little bit more of a definite change in the way we go about games. We went 1-0 up yesterday, and we went again. And then even when it went to, you know, they changed it about a little bit yesterday. And we defended really, really well, and we went, and then we went again. And I felt at the end of the day we could have actually nicked it, maybe more goals. But it was a perfect away performance. So I'm going to give Mikel all the credit and the team, all that he deserves. You know what I mean? Like at the end of it, and for me, I don't care who. I just want us winning games of football, and if that's Mikel doing that, then fine. That's what it's all about, and he is doing what I want him to do as a manager at the moment. What I will say is that the last two performances have asked me a lot of questions. We need a magnificent performance under pressure after that Crystal Palace game. We got it, and then yesterday that was the key for me, to see if you could back it up. He backed it up yesterday. The team, the manager, everybody backed it up. And I'm going to say it now, I am highly delighted he did. And you know, there's no better feeling at the weekend than Arsenal win. And listen, as far as weekend's concerned, that was fantastic. You know, I mean, you've got that result early doors. You then could go and watch the Man United Tottenham game. Really, I didn't care. You know, I wanted Tottenham to lose, of course, but it weren't like we was that bothered where you could just put your feet up and enjoy it. It went lovely for us. I thought some of the results went for us in there. I think if you have a look at it, this league is showing that if you're not quite at it, you will get punished. Don't matter who you are. And also, big up to the ladies today, look, you know, who, by the way, are a class act. I love the manager, and I love the way they play football. Brilliant weekend.
It has been a brilliant weekend, topped off by a magnificent result for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. We do like to see that. But let's kick to Arsenal. Shane, I'll come to you, mate. I've got to say, there's been topics, not just at this football club, but in football that can become quite toxic. Arteta in, Arteta out is one. There's been a Granit Xhaka debate, a Mesut Ozil debate, an Arsene Wenger debate, an Emery debate. It goes on. But there's been comments in the chat which I think are spot on. It doesn't really matter whether you're Kroenke in, Kroenke out, Arteta in, Arteta out. When Arsenal are winning, that is all that matters. And we've seen now two performances that we've won, but we can be proud of in terms of the performance. And that's what we've always wanted to see, is a style of football that we're happy to watch, be entertained by, and be proud of. And I think we got that again yesterday, Shaheen.
I 100% agree with you. And I don't think Mikel Arteta's job should be assessed based on the first 3 or 4 games that he lost, or based on this 7 unbeaten run that he's on. His job should be assessed at the end of the season. I still stick to my opinion, which I have of him. But it's very difficult to ask for somebody. I know some people ask for him to be sacked, or even criticize somebody who's winning games. Because as Lee said earlier, it's all about winning games and getting the 3 points. Things have changed recently. You know, it seems as if the team is playing more freely. The handbrake has been taken off. I said to somebody before the Leicester game, I said, if they go out there, they show a bit of passion, fight, and energy, I'm sure they will get the 3 points. And that's exactly what they did. They went out there and they did something that we weren't used to doing before, and that's start quick. put it on a team quite quickly. It's difficult to criticize Mikel, and you said it correctly. If you're Arteta out, Kroenke, Crocker, whoever, Xhaka, this and that, as long as the team is getting 3 points at the end of the day, that's all it matters. And if it's Arteta who is getting the 3 points, then that means he's doing what he's supposed to be doing. And if he's doing what he's supposed to be doing, then it's difficult to criticize him or ask for him to get sacked. So that's my
100%.
opinion of it.
I'll tell you what, it's
And
a
I'm
great
with-
point
and I'm
someone
with
just
you.
made in the chat, Dan, which is a great point. Ollie went 19 games unbeaten, right?
Yeah.
Went a whole season unbeaten away from home. Couple of bad results,
Secondly,
and they're calling for his head. It's football. That's what football's about, and I just, look at Aston Villa. I think the manager there has done a fantastic job, Dean Smith. He's under pressure now. He's under pressure, Tottenham manager under pressure, looks like he's going to be sacked because you're not getting results. It's a results-driven business, and that is the reason why we react like we do when we don't see results. Now, you can go on about Mikel, and it's great, this 7-game unbeaten run, and it's fantastic. But there's also last year when we couldn't win a home game for so long and all that, Well, the one thing I will say about it now is he's got his players down. You know what I mean? And Gabriel looks an absolutely unbelievable signing. Just fantastic. Ben White yesterday, I thought was brilliant yesterday again, getting better and better. And I like what we're seeing at the Arsenal at the moment. So this I don't like it when the Arsenal fan base, you're Arteta in, Arteta out. The most important thing is about Arsenal winning games, and the ones that want Arteta in are all wanting. The ones that want Arteta out still want Arsenal to win games of football, and then when the ones that Arteta are in, when they're getting the wins that we all want, what you're trying, you want Arsenal, anybody, and I've seen it on Twitter and everywhere, wanting Arsenal to lose games because of the manager. They're the ones that you don't want in the football club. Not that it is all about Arsenal winning games of football.
And what's important with that, Lee, as well, because you're always going to have difference of opinion in football. But 2 things you're allowed in football. 1 is an opinion, and 2, you can change your opinion, Yeah, if you've got evidence and you believe that there's enough to change an opinion, and let's say that Arteta goes on a 25-game unbeaten run, we then look at the end of the season and we're second in the table. That could change opinions of people that don't like Mikel Arteta. That doesn't mean that you're wrong or you're right. This is a game of football that we're looking at, and we're looking at opinions, and I'm with Shaheen. I still don't believe that this guy is the right guy to take us forward. But at the moment, what I'm seeing is him changing something. I'm seeing him making something work. I'm seeing him look at something that wasn't working and trying to do something about it. I have no doubt in my mind that Mikel Arteta is doing the best job possible that he can do. But my fear is that he's not experienced enough and not ready to take the team forward long term. Now, that can change. Believe it or not, my opinion can change, because my opinion's changed in the past about football managers, about players, about England, about international games, because that's what football's about. It's about opinions, and it's about them trying to change your opinion, because you're damn rightly, everybody wants to win games of football to the team that they support, right? And it's no different when you're playing. It's no different when you're managing. And the coaching staff and the management and the players and the fans all need to collectively take credit for yesterday's result, because everyone was spot on. And when everyone's spot on, I'll say everyone's spot on. When everyone's not spot on, I'll give the opinion that I actually didn't think he got it right, or I didn't think the player was too good, or I thought that the team selection was wrong, or the substitutions weren't right. Because that's the idea of these podcasts. It's the idea of going onto channels or talking with friends in pubs about your opinion of football. Now, if that changes, that's absolutely fine. And it's not about, I told you this, I'm the big man, I'm right, and you're not, you're wrong. I hope I'm wrong. I hope Arteta keeps winning. I hope that means that Arsenal are going to go up that table, and that's what we all want to see. Now, yesterday, Lee, I'll come to you on this one. Saw some outstanding individual performances. And I have to start no further than our goalkeeper. That signing has again proved a lot of people wrong. He got a lot of stick when he signed for the Arsenal. He got a lot of stick, so did Arteta, so did Edu. Paying that much money for a goalkeeper. He's came in, and I've got to say this, and I'm going to touch wood as I say it, he ain't put a foot wrong. And that was one of the best saves I have seen from any goalkeeper for that free kick. What did you make of Aaron Ramsdale's performance, Lee, and his connection with the fans?
It was a routine save. Come on, like, you know what I mean? I think, like, I look at it like, you know, it wasn't in the top corner. It was, you know, I think he should have caught it. I'll be honest, you know what I mean? Like some of the critics are saying. Now, listen, I thought he was fantastic yesterday, and but I'm going to say this: people have been going on, oh, you know, he's man of the match, and that's where he is there to make those sort of saves. By the way, that's what you expect a good goalkeeper to do. Do you know what? David Seaman made saves when he was at Arsenal with the best back four in front of him. He did make saves, you know, and so I think that's you know, got to be said. But I just love the energy that he's brought to the team. I love the he's someone that the fans can relate to. I think, you know, he's an Arsenal fan, and I think, like, living the dream. So I think that it's a great, and I thought he was absolutely brilliant yesterday. The one criticism I've got of the Arsenal performance yesterday, and it's something that we need to do and look at, is that I, as I say, I've not been that well today, so I've sort of sat through and watched the whole game, like, you know, with my pen and paper, and I looked at it from a tactical point of view. The one thing that I would say, and I think sometimes when you watch games, you can be too over the board if you win, too overboard if you lose. You can go down. So, like today, I thought I'd have a little look at it. The one thing that Arsenal have got to improve on is not allowing him to have so many shots. And as even though we got a clean sheet, if it wasn't for Ramsdale, it could have been the other way. He made 3 or 4 fantastic saves.
Yeah, he did.
We've got to stop that. We've got to, you know, limit him to like 1 or 2. You know what I mean? I know you're playing a very, very good side, but what I'm saying is that's something that we can look at and try to improve on. And I think that's something we need to do. There was far too many shots going in on him. Was he man of the match? Yes, he was, because I think that he made some fantastic saves. There were some other fantastic performances because of his performance that have gone under the radar. I thought Gabriel was immense yesterday. Like, you know, getting the goal, the leadership and all that was fantastic. I thought Ben White alongside him, like Tavares is look at that run he done in the first half. That frightens people. Like, you know, he commits people, but he doesn't go past. And I think that we need someone like that. We've got tricky players that go past players, but we need someone that's got that power running in him as well. Like, and he just burst through. He didn't really do a lot other than just burst through, and I loved it. So that put, and all of a sudden, like, you know, you've got it coming from all different angles. You're saying that first. I thought first half, by the way, I've got to say, it was fantastic. It was a pleasure to watch Arsenal. We was under no pressure against a very, very good side. You know, people were worried about Vardy, were worried about Tielemans. They were worried about, you know, Iniacho. They was worried about where it was going to. We just blew them apart. Partey and Lokonga as a partnership looks very, very good. And you was right what you said, Dan. There's partnerships developing all over, and that's what you want to do there. A good partnership between the two central defenders. On the left-hand side, Smith Rowe and Tavares backing up each other. On the right-hand side, Tommy Hassel doing the same. Tommy Hassel, by the way, didn't get us forward as much as probably he would like to. Who cares? You know what I mean? He defended well. All in round, I thought it was a very, very good performance. Lacazette went for 60, 70 minutes, and then he, whether he tired or not, like, I do think that this moment when Lacazette comes out of the team, and I felt this against Villa, and nothing against Odegaard as well, but when he come off, we just lost a little bit in the game again, like, you know. So I think that we're going to have to really be looking at that situation with Lacazette, who we're going to get in after him, because I think it's a key role. Odegaard, I didn't think was quite as good as that game there, but I'm going to give him a pass on this one, because I think it's very, very difficult to come in and then get up to the running of that level of performance that it was at. It was a very, very good game of football for two very, very good teams.
Yeah, fair play, Lee. I think you summed up quite well there.
Dan, can I say something on the Ramsdale issue?
Go on.
I think the biggest thing that Ramsdale has brought on the table is a surety. And you see, when you've got a keeper that is assured and is giving you good performances, automatically your defense will play better because they've got confidence in the guy that is behind them, right? I always thought Leno is a very good goalkeeper, right? But his distribution is not the best. Mm-hmm. Ramsdale, he's equally as good as Leno, if better to a certain degree, but his distribution is top notch, right? And if you're a centre back, right, and you're in a position where you have to give the ball back to your keeper, you feel a lot more confident giving it to Ramsdale than Leno, because anything is possible with Leno. With a Ramsdale, I think it was only once that he misplaced a pass yesterday, and that's really good for a goalkeeper. And for me, I think that's the biggest thing that he's brought onto the table, and is the assurity, is the confidence that he breathes into the players that play in front of him. And I used to be a centre back, so I know when you got a proper keeper behind you, you feel better, you can play better. If he goes past you, then there is a chance that he will actually save it.
I agree,
Do you know,
Shaheen, and I
that's a great
think
point. Great point, isn't it? Go on, Dan.
I
Great
think
point.
I think it's an amazing point, because when Emi Martinez come in and everyone talks about how we miss him and all that kind of thing, the one thing he had was command of an area, and he seemed to me, presence wise, but he seemed to me that the defence trusted him, and I do believe the defence look a lot more assured and comfortable with Aaron Ramsdale. Now, I'm a big
100%.
Leno fan. I think he's got a great shot-stopping ability. His reflex saves are great, and he has kept us in games, so we have a lot to thank him for. But at the moment, Ramsdale is the number one, and he deserves to be the number one. And there is that confidence there. He's kept a lot of clean sheets. He's kept us in games also. And there just seems to be that connection with the fans that I love. Being at games, seeing what he does after the games, seeing how he's cheered throughout the game, seeing how he gets involved with that. We love that, and actually him cheering on with the Leicester fans when they're screaming yesterday, turning around with a fist pump, for me was class. And, I spoke to a few Leicester fans after the game, and they said, wow, he is amazing. That save from the free kick, I said, that is just, everybody in the ground thought that was in. And, to come out and react from that, superb.
There was another one as well, Dan, if you remember. There was one time that he misplaced the pass, and they attacked the fingertip save. That was a really, really good save as well. And as you said, all of these, it helps a player to become a fan favorite a lot quicker than others. Ramsdale has been here for what, 2-3 months? I'll say he's got a better relationship with fans than Leno, who's been here for maybe a couple of seasons. And these are the reasons why, because he interacts with them with good, puts in good performances. All of these helps.
100%
yeah, that's a great point. Terrific point.
Yeah, and I think when you look at what he's doing in connection with the fans, if you're a fan's favourite, you're always going to be given a little bit more credit in the bank. Now, I think he deserves all the plaudits he's getting, but there is going to be a day where he does make that mistake, Aaron Ramsdale. It's going to happen. He's a young goalkeeper. All goalkeepers do make mistakes. And I think when he's pulling out performances the way that he is, because it was an unbelievable save, by the way, against Harvey Barnes as well, towards the end of the game. I thought that was an outstanding save. Yeah. So he had a really assured performance, and I think, was definitely a candidate for man of the match. But Shaheen, I'll stay with you, because the one player that I think has been our best player this season is Gabriel. He, for me, was the best player of last season for the first 3 months and has been an outstanding signing. Then he got unwell, and since then couldn't really shake off what happened to him throughout the pandemic with a few of the other Brazilians, I think in Willian and Luis, and then ended the season really well. He has started, since coming back from injury, most games, and he's been outstanding in the majority of them. And I think that his partnership with Ben White can't be ignored now, because Ben White was a lot of money, as was Gabriel, to be fair. They cost £80 million combined. So there's going to be pressure on their shoulders for both of them. But what do you make of this partnership now that's starting to form with Gabriel and Ben White, Shaheen?
To be the first thing about Gabriel is, I criticize the recruitment process at Arsenal quite heavily at times. But with Gabriel, we have to give them credit, because the amount of money that they paid for him and the caliber of the player he is and the potential of him becoming a top player is really great. I think there's a triangle being formed at the back for Arsenal, and it's Gabriel, White, and Ramsdale, right? And they are, every time I see them play, they're getting better and better. We used to make a lot of silly mistakes at the back. We're not making them anymore, right? We used to give a ball away quite a lot at the back. We're not doing that anymore. We used to always be worried about the right back spot. So if you play in a right centre back, you always worry about Bellerin going up, not coming back, or not being able to defend properly. Now you've got somebody who can defend properly. Same on the left hand side. So we're slowly developing a solid back line. And I think the fact that these two have started to gel together has helped Mikel Arteta quite a lot. Because if they didn't, it would have been another headache on top of the headaches he's got, and then they have to get the defensive coaching, so and so. I just think that triangle that I mentioned earlier is key. Ramsdale, White, and Gabriel. And I think the more they play together, the better they will become. And as you said earlier, that is the base of a spine that is now proving to be very, very strong. And as you know, every successful team has a very, very solid spine.
100%. And Lee, I'll bring you in on that point because we have now got a spine, we've got partnerships, and we look like we've built the foundations. And I must give Arteta and Edu credit for that, and I always have done off the pitch. I think their signings have been so much better than we've seen some of the that we've signed in previous seasons. But actually, when you look at what the back five are doing there, and I'll bring in Tommy Asu and of course Nuno Tavares, who's been absolutely brilliant since he's come in for Kieran Tierney, and some would even question, Lee, whether Tierney deserves to come back into this side now when he is fit. What do you make of that back five? Because those additions have proven to be great signings, Lee. They really have.
Yeah, just before I mention anything, like, I know Jay Myhill is in the chat, like, he just lost his dad this week, like, so I'm going to give him a big shout out. Andrew was 50 years a Gooner, and obviously supporting the Arsenal since the 1970s. Unfortunately, passed away this week. So Jay's in the chat. Sorry for the loss, and listen, your dad would have been proud of that Arsenal performance at the weekend, and also Spurs getting battered. He'll enjoy that as well. So keep your chin up, Jay. I know how you're feeling, mate. But be proud. He'll be proud of you, and he'll be proud of the Arsenal after that. And I'm sure that him and my dad are watching it from upstairs and enjoyed that performance. Back five, I think, like, I'm pretty sure with Andrew and my dad, they'd be pleased about that back five because it's looking a proper defensive unit. I've got to say that, like, Benjamin. I'm going to call him Benjamin since he's been asked to be called Benjamin. He's certainly playing like a Benjamin. You know what I mean? And he's been playing really, really well. I like what I see with Benjamin White. I'm going to have to say this. I think he gets on the ball. Do you know what I liked about him? He got a little bit hairy in the game yesterday. He put his foot on the ball for a couple of seconds and just played a couple of 1-2 passes with the right back into midfield, got it back in, took the sting out of the game. Deserves a little bit of credit for that. What I like about him, and I've seen it before, not kicking the ball forward, rushing, you know what I mean? Like, do you remember we had that panic stations when the ball was pinging about a little bit? He's very, very calm and collected. Gabriel looks good. Look, the thing is, you know what I mean? Like, what I look with Tavares at the back there now. Are we? Last season we were counting down the days, the hours, the months, or the weeks when Kieran Tierney was injured. We're not now, and that's the key. You know what I mean? Like, and if I was Kieran Tierney now, like, I'd be thinking, right, I've got to start performing. I've got to start playing really, really well. Otherwise, I'm not going to get back in this side. What does that tell you? That makes it look good for you. That makes sure that you're going to be, that when he does come back,
Be on your toes.
He's going to have to play well. If he doesn't, he's not going to get into the team. It's as simple as that, like, Listen, a lot of people were saying before the game, Dan, Vardy's going to score, Vardy, and I questioned that, and I said, like, hold on a minute, this is a new back five, you know what I mean? Let's see what we can do defensively. Lots of people tipping that Leicester would score. This is a different defence, and this was a real test for them. I don't know, like, people turn around and say, test. Well, every game's a test. Every game that you come up, you're testing your wits, you're testing everything against the other managers. So Mikel's being tested every single game, as well as the players. That is football. That's how it is. So these boys will be tested on a different sort of scale against Watford, where they won't perhaps have to defend so much, but when they have to defend well. Against Leicester, they have to defend a little bit better. As I've said, I'm not going to get carried away because I think that we did allow Ramsdale too many shots off. So when you play Liverpool in a couple of weeks' time, we want to be working hard now to stop that. So as good as that performance was, you can always look to improve and get better. And I think that defence, I think as Shanine said earlier on, I think there's room for improvement from all of them. They're all young, still learning the game. When you think about it, Gabriel is in his second season at the club. Tommy Asu and Tavares, for instance, are new to the Premier League. Ben White, new to the club. Ramsdale new to the club, so it's all new to them to a certain degree. But I still think this, and I'm going to say it, and I'm going to say it, and I'll go on record and I'll say it. Not being in Europe will help us tenfold. It will get these players on the pitch being coached. It will also give them the rest that they need to carry it on for. We haven't got a game this week. All the others are all travelling and playing in Europe. Those teams in and around us that are challenging for it, like, you know, for where we want to be. While we can have a couple of days rest, you know what I mean? Like, all the players can go out trick and treating tonight. They ain't got to be up for football tomorrow. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they can do what they want to do. And then, like, we can go again on Sunday. So we can be refreshed. We can be coached properly and working on things that are needed. So I feel that we're in a good position at the moment. And to go on really well. And I think someone said in the chat earlier on, which is very, very important, keeping the squad fit. Well, it will be a lot fitter if it ain't playing so many games. So I think all in all, the defence can be worked on, and I'm pretty sure it's going to be worked on for over the next 3 or 4 days and continually. And the good thing is, Dan, you know now, if you don't play well and you're left out, you get dropped. You might not get back in for a very, very long time. It's not like, oh, you've got a game round the corner here, or, you know, I'll get a game in Europe, or I'll get a game in here. You're getting 1 game a week, 2 games, you know, like, you know, Saturday to Saturday, weekend to weekend. You want to play well, making sure that you're playing in that next game.
Yeah, and it's all competition for places. Before I bring Shaheen in, I want to bring on this super chat from Zane. Zane, thank you so much, mate, for your kind donation. Absolutely amazing. It says, Lee, did you see Expression's meltdown? He says he thinks we can finish 4th this year. Ramsdale is the signing of the season, and he can be the new David Seaman. Top 4.
I shall have a little look at the Expression. I haven't had a look at all the Spurs things. I should get on there and have a little look at them, like, so I'll have a little look at Expression's meltdown. I have to say, coming home from because I was at the studio yesterday, I went through. I had to go. Couldn't time it any worse to get home.
Oh, no.
And going through because it was about 4:30, 4:15, 4:30, train full of them. You know what I mean? Like, and you know, head down, keep my head down, like, you know, and you know. You just they're all bubbly, and they, like, you know what I mean. I just pictured them all what they was going to be like after the game, like, you know. Like, I absolutely love it, you know what I mean. Tottenham get battered everywhere they go, even when at home. It's unbelievable, isn't it? Like, you know what I mean?
Unbelievable, isn't it?
Even when at home, even when
3 goals as well. 3 goals Palace, 3 goals Arsenal, 3
I'm going
goals.
to say this though,
3 goals
Cristiano.
United.
Yeah.
0 shots on target, Dan. 0.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. This is
Harry
crazy.
Give him time, mate. Give him time. Trust the process, Spurs fans. Give him time.
Harry
I'll tell you
Kane
what,
has left the
Cristiano
building.
Ronaldo, though, was unreal yesterday. Unreal. 36
Yeah,
years.
it was.
Oh,
That finish
He is
from Cavani
gonna
as
be
well.
as well, yeah, I've got to say, like, you know, it was, you know, do you know what? When you've Arsenal have won and then Spurs lose, it's just, I just enjoy it just as much, you know what I mean? Like, it's just, you know what I mean? I went out last night buzzing, like, do you know what I mean? Like, I think I floated into the restaurant last night, like, you know what I mean? I just floated in, like, you know what I mean? And took my seat. It was fantastic.
Bless you. Absolutely. Shaheen, let's bring you in back to Arsenal, mate. I've got to bring up Tomiyasu and Nuno Tavares because I think with Tomiyasu, he's kind of the opposite of Bellerin. He's the disciplined right back, understands that defending comes first. Been really impressive with his work rate and his honesty, and I think that at 22 or 23 years old, he's got time to develop. Nuno Tavares has come in at Arsenal thinking, I'm probably not going to play every game, but you know what? I'm young, I can grow into this team, and I'm going to be back up to Kieran Tierney, who he must knows, like everybody else, gets injured quite a lot. What have you made of these fullbacks, and how refreshing is it to have 2 new athletic, vibrant fullbacks that seem to be able to play with their teammates?
It's brilliant. The biggest compliment I can pay to Tavares is that he's grabbed his opportunity proper, right? So he's seen opportunities, and he's like, listen, I'm going to go in there and I'm going to show everybody what a player I am, and I'm going to give the manager a headache. And that's exactly he's done for the past 2 games. The way he's making those runs, he's going. Yesterday, he went on past quite a few people, and then he played a really nice pass. I think it was to Odegaard, if I'm not mistaken. And obviously, he missed. But again, the performance is assured. They don't make mistakes, silly mistakes that Bellerin used to make. Tomiyasu is not making. He's a proper defender, Tomiyasu. He's a unit as well, Dan. He's not
Yeah.
he's not a short guy, so he's good. He helps at set pieces when you're defending set pieces, obviously, because you've got an extra guy who's got height in there. He enjoys defending. He likes defending. I can see that in his game. I'll go back to Ramsdale giving the centre backs confidence. Now you've got two left back and right back who also assured, and they're putting in assured performances. They're not making silly mistakes. You trust them, so it automatically makes the back four or back five play better as well. And I just think they've changed the way we defend. Now you've got two people in there who enjoy defend, who want to be there. You know, we always criticize Bellerin going forward, can't cross the ball, can't defend properly, weak. You know, he's not strong. But there was nobody to push him. There was nobody to challenge him. It was every time he was fit, he will walk back into the team. And then we went and got Cedric, who's also, I don't think he's a good backup, but that's about it. And then we used Maitland-Niles. So it's been a while that we've had a proper right back who you don't have to worry about the right back position kind of thing, you know. So it's really good. It's, again, you can see by the results that we've kept more clean sheets. We're not making silly mistakes anymore, and everybody seems to be more confident in what they're doing. I just want to give a special shout out as well, if I may, to Lacazette, because I'm a fan of Alexander Lacazette, and I 100% agree with what Lee said earlier. The recent change of performance and a change of tactics, if you like, that we've seen evolves around Alexander Lacazette, I think, quite a lot, because he offers us something Odegaard doesn't. He offers us fight, passion, energy. You know, Lacazette, I think he enjoys putting it about, if you like, challenges. And I can see a lot of time that he wins the ball back and he gets us going. It's a shame that it's taken us until November to work this out. And they've got a problem now with the contract situation. Whether you offer him a contract, you don't. But I like Alexander Lacazette, and I wish that we used him a lot earlier. We're using him now, which is good. But I hope that he can be injury free and he can keep that going.
No, I totally agree with you, Shane, 100%. And we're going to come on to the strikers in a minute, because I think it's a really interesting question what people are saying at the moment about Lacazette's situation, but also how we fit these players into the side, which I think is a good thing. And I'll come to you on this point, Lee, because a lot of people are saying, well, how's Tierney going to get back in? How are we going to fit Pepe and Martinelli in? What's going to happen with Ødegaard? I think that shows how long it's been since Arsenal have had a team that can compete with each other for places. Now, a lot of people were saying this playing staff weren't good enough and that we were going to be 12th this season because the playing staff aren't good enough. Always disagreed. Always thought we had good enough players. I had just had question marks about how they were being coached and how they were trying to be fit into this side. Now, I think we've proven that they can actually play together. They can score goals. They can play well. It just needs to be on a consistent level. Now, I don't think it's a bad thing personally that Kieran Tierney, who everyone knows is my favourite player, is going to struggle to get into this side, because that for me should be every single position, not just the left back, Lee. This should be every single position now. Pepe and Martinelli should be giving Smith Rowe and Saka nightmares about their places. But unfortunately against Leeds, neither player really did enough for me to say Smith Rowe and Saka need a rest. So in some positions it isn't working, but in a lot of positions I think that it is. And that for me is only good for competition for places. So does Kieran Tierney get back into this side, in your opinion, Lee, when he's fit? And what do you make of Ødegaard and some of the others that are trying to push these players for places?
Well, I think you've got to work hard in training and show a bit in that, and just be patient. I think that, you know, listen, games will come. You know, I mean, football can can change very, very quickly. You think you can be out the side for ages, and then you're back in. Like, you know, we may decide to go with a different formation against Liverpool. Say, for instance, when we play Liverpool, we may decide that, you know, Tavares and Tierney can come in the same team and go defensively, like, you know what I mean, like, and have two more defensive sort of wide players in the team. I don't know. There's things that they can do. That's things for them to look on in the training ground and experiment, and that's what they'll do. I also think that for me, I think that Tierney has not done enough in the games to say, yes, you justify to come back into the team straight away. But, he's still been a good player for us at this moment. But it's nothing to do with Tierney at this moment in time. I think that the two performances that Tavares has put in have been too good for him to be left out. And I don't think that he should be left out of that. Odegaard's going to be a problem for us because what position is he going to be playing in? Now, I see the comments about how crap he is and everything like that. I weren't saying that after the Spurs game when he was absolutely outstanding. Give him a bit of a break. He's only just come over to the club. All right, he was on loan last season, which would have been difficult for him. He's got to settle in and everything like that. When you're on loan, he's probably thinking to himself, I haven't got to find a house, I haven't got to settle down, I haven't got to do this. I'm only going to be here for a few months. Now it's a different situation for him. Listen, he'll come good. He will come good, because just say what? Because he's a good player. He might not be the player that we want at this moment in time, but he's training and getting used to the Premier League. Listen, the Premier League's not easy, right? And I go back to Thierry Henry and Robert Perez, two of the greatest players who ever played for Arsenal. Struggled when they first come over here. So give him a bit of a break. Let him see what he can do. Pepe is a little bit different because he's been over here a couple of years, you know what I mean? But he's gone through a different manager and all whatever. So I can see people being on a little bit more onto his case. But Odegaard's been over here on loan and now just coming back. So I think that give him a little bit of time, see what he can do. There is a player in there, and he's got to learn how to play in the Premier League, the rough and tough. He come on yesterday and got kicked all over the place. He's got to learn. That's part of Premier League football. But at this moment in time, he's going to have to be patient and wait for his play. And when he gets the opportunity, like he did yesterday, as tough as it is, he's going to have to try and take it. Martinelli and Pepe now have got a job to do for us in the quarterfinals of the League Cup. A great draw against Sunderland. Go there and get that result and get that and get yourself playing in that way. Now, how has Lacazette gone from being a substitute to into the team now and everybody going he's great? Because I tell you why, when he come on, he made an impact. He got his chance and he took it. That's what he's done. And he's forced the manager, I'll be honest, he's forced the manager to play him. And that's what you've got to do. So that's what the likes of Odegaard have got to do. That's what Martinelli's got to do. Force this manager to get you in the team and stay in the team. And realistically, Tavares has done it at left back at this moment in time where Kieran Tierney might, I think last season, Dan, I'll be honest, would have probably played. Like, you know what I mean? But don't need him to play now. Have another week off, of it. The two central defenders are playing really, really well at the moment. But I don't know if you noticed, I thought Rob Holding had a very, very good game against Leeds. Why? Because he knows if you don't have a good game, he ain't going to get no chance of getting into the team. So all of a sudden, the levels are starting to go up on these players. And that's what you want. I thought Cedric played very, very well against Leeds. No coincidence, is it? Because he knows that he's got to up his game if he's ever going to get over past Tommy. You know what I mean? So you that's what you want. Maitland-Niles has played very, very well in midfield. Why? Because he knows he's going to have to. And this is what's going to happen. It's a little bit tougher, though, for the forwards to do that because, you need to be sharp. As a forward, you need to be sharp, and a couple of games. So I feel for them, but, that is what you're going to do. Listen, there's going to be opportunities for these players, somewhere along the line, and they've just got to take it, and that's it. And do you know what? If they do, who does it benefit? It benefits the club, benefits the team. And that's all that matters,
100%, mate. You make great points, and I think there is competition for places now. And of course, we'll start to see, hopefully, some players up their games. Shaheen, let's come to you because we're starting to see a little bit more of a different formation now. It is still a kind of 4-2-3-1, but we're seeing a lot of 4-4-2 throughout the game, which I've been crying out for. It's great to see two strikers up top. You mentioned Lacazette already. I think he's completely changed the way that we're playing in the last 3 games. His appearance against Palace won us the goal for the equaliser. Yeah. And, of course, the last 2 performances, I think he's been outstanding. Now, this has to continue for me. Lacazette has to be playing. What do we do with him at the end of this season? Do we try to look at a contract extension or do we try to upgrade on him?
The honest answer, Dan, is I don't know, because is because it's a tricky one. Why leave it till now? That's the first
Hmm.
question, right? If
Same
you're
here,
not
mate.
fancying Alexander Lacazette, sell him, because that's a 40 million pound player that is going to walk away now for free. So that's another 40 million on top of all of the other players that walked away that he's going to do that. If you're going to offer him a contract, you're not going to be in a position of strength, because he's going to, from January, he's going to be able to negotiate contract with other clubs. And now you're putting your offer uh, to him as well. And if I'm Lacazette, I'm going to look at this and I'm going to be thinking, why have you waited until, if you really want me to stay, why wait until now, 6 months down the line? So we're not in a position of strength when it comes to negotiating a new deal with them. The, I genuinely, I don't have an answer for you on this one, man. I genuinely don't, because I think I have the same opinion of you. We should have played two up front a long time ago, right? And I've all called for it a while back. We were doing shows with Tom and Mo, and I've always said we need to go two up front because we're not
Hmm.
offering enough up front. Now we've changed that. We can see it's working. Right, fantastic. So what we're going to do? Offer Lacazette a contract. He may not want to sign, because remember, he probably got one more big contract in him, right? So he can get probably a lot more money in other clubs with signing on fee and all the rest. I'm not a I'm not Odegaard's biggest fan, right? I was not really over the moon when we signed him. I think if I have to think logically, or knowing what I know of Arsenal, Lacazette will probably walk away for free, and they will be looking to sign a similar type of player to him. I don't really see them offering a new contract to Alexander Lacazette. If they do, it's going to be very. It's not going to be a from position of. It's going to be a difficult one, if you like. Um, but I'm happy that at least he's playing two up front now, and you can see he's working. You talking about strikers, Dan? We're missing another thing. Aubameyang is not getting any younger either. You
Hmm.
know, next year I think he's 32, if I'm not mistaken, or
Yep.
33. So soon we're gonna have to talk about Aubameyang as well, because this season may work well for him, because as Lee said earlier, we're playing one game a week, and that's on a Saturday. If we do qualify for Europa League or a Champions League, it's going to be 2 games a week. And I think a 32 striker, a 32-year-old striker whose game predominantly is based on pace, may struggle with 2 games a week. So then you've got another a dilemma as to, okay, now what do we do with Aubameyang? You know, and do we sell him, or who's going to buy him on a big contract? And if we're going to go buy a similar goals, because he's a goal scorer, he's a finisher. If we're going to go buy a similar type of player in this current market, that's another big chunk of money that we're going to spend. So it's a big decision. Fortunately or unfortunately, I don't get paid like those guys do, and I'm not in a setup to make those decisions. But it'll be interesting to see what they'll do. I mean, I don't know what you think of the Lacazette situation, because I've seen past few shows. Your opinion is same as me. You wanted to go two up front. Now that we've gone two up front, one of them is going to leave in 6 months' time, and the other one is going to be 32. So it will be a dilemma.
And it is a huge dilemma. And for me, I'm all like you. I'm looking back thinking, why are we in this situation? Why do we have Lacazette and Eddie still at the club if they're running out in the summer? Why have we not sold them 2 summers ago or last summer? Or why have we not tried to look at getting them this summer just gone, or even in January, look to try and get some money? Now, when Lacazette's putting in performances like that, I can understand why people are crying out for him to stay. But where are we going with this again? We've done this with Mesut Ozil. We've done this with the Sanchez situation. We've done it now with Aubameyang. Do we give Lacazette 250k a week, which is what he's going to ask for, to keep him here? Or do we let him run down and then say, look, we're going to offer you 100k a week for another 2-year deal. It is a pay cut for you. If you don't want to accept it, then off you go to Juve or Atletico Madrid or whoever it be. That's the situation. I would like personally to upgrade still. I think he's a great player and has been for a long time, and I think that this season has proved that he's been important for us. But I think where Mikel Arteta, I believe, is trying to go on this rebuild is a younger crop of players. So it wouldn't surprise me if Dominic Calvert-Lewin is the striker we want, not Lacazette, or Vlahovic, or Alexander Isak. They're the type of players that we're being linked with. So that suggests to me that we would like to upgrade on Lacazette with somebody younger, like we've done with Bellerin and Tomiyasu, like we've done with the Tierney's coming in instead of Kolasinac's and Monreal's. That's where I think we're going as this model and this kind of implement of youngsters. So that's where I would probably go.
I agree with you. Also, Dan, you know that the list of players that you just mentioned that we offered new contract, every single one of them that we offered a contract to, that were not the same player after. So
Agreed.
I will not be surprised we offer a contract to Lacazette and then he will not be the same player that he is now. Because there is an argument to say he's potentially playing for a new contract, or he's playing for a big contract in another club.
I think that, I'm going to be honest with you. I think that probably Udegaard's earmarked for that role. Maybe even Pepe could play that role long term and all that. The thing with Lacazette, and I like Lacazette. I love his enthusiasm, his work rate. I've never really seen him play like this over a long period of time. You know what I mean? You might get 2 or 3 games, 4 or 5 games out, and then there's a drop. You know, he's got to, before he can even think about earning a contract with me, he's got to play really like this now up until Christmas, every week. You know, the position that he played, I thought he played very, very well again yesterday. Drops into, we don't actually play 4-4-2. Let's get that right. It's 4-4-2 when we're going forward, but it's 4-4. He drops back into a position and builds up. What he does is the ball goes into him and he starts off our attacks, and then we get the wide players going forward. There's a certain definite, I think, a certain more belief when he's on when the player's giving the ball, they know that he's not going to lose it, and that means that we can go forward. And I think there's something that they will look at. Udegaard, I think, is earmarked for that. He's not nowhere near ready to take over that role for Lacazette at this moment in time. So for me, leave Lacazette doing what he's doing at the moment and see what happens. But I agree, you know what I mean? I wouldn't be giving him a contract now, because over the last few years, I don't think he's ever been consistently good. And I say this about him: if he left now, would he go down as one of the legends of Arsenal? No, he wouldn't. You know what I mean? He's not done quite enough. But he's a very, very good footballer, very, very intelligent, works really, really hard. He's a team player. I know a lot of people go, he don't score as many goals as Lacazette, because he does different things to Lacazette. He drops off into that hole. And I think we found, whether you like it or whether you're not, or sometimes you can be, and I've always said this about Mikel Arteta, he's a lucky manager. Sometimes you put someone in and it just works. And I think that maybe out of desperation, who knows? He's stuck in it like there, and it's works, you know. And I like what I see of him. Russ puts up there, Odegaard doesn't play with his back to goal. That's a great point. You know what I mean? Like, he doesn't. He's more on the half term. And I think that's why it didn't work for him so much yesterday as it did for Lacazette. And I think that with Lacazette, I think that, listen, he's played 2 very, very good games for Arsenal. Come on as a sub on the net. Let's see what he does over the next 2 months, say, for instance, and then see what happens. At the end of the day, guys, I will say this. Wherever, if Arsenal do offer him a new contract, you know what I mean, and he's playing like he is at the moment, why would you want to leave? You're playing in a position where is really suits your play and enjoy it. It's a position that I don't think you have to be. It's not a young legs position, so you can play there for a good couple of years playing there, and so you know, let's see what it is. So. I'm a big fan of his, but I'm not going to go overboard about any of these players at this moment in time. Lacazette has been one of the problems, you know, like say problems. He's not been consistent. He's been like the team, inconsistent, show consistency. The team's shown a bit of consistency, but as I say, you know, it's only 3 games that he's played really well at the moment. Everybody's going, let's get this, let's sign him up on a long-term deal and everything like that. I'm not going to buy into that.
Yeah, and I agree with you there in terms of what he has done over the last few games as opposed to the last few seasons. I thought he was brilliant under Emery that year. We got player of the season, and then it kind of went downhill when we got rid of Emery, and he hasn't really found his form until now. Where I disagree, though, Lee, is I don't see Ødegaard as being the long-term Lacazette replacement because I think they're completely different players, and I think Ødegaard is a number 10. I don't think he's that kind of second striker. So I think if we are going to get rid of Lacazette, I think we obviously do need to replace him with a Calvert-Lewin or some other players.
Yeah, I think that's what he'd do. Calvin Lewin would go up there and probably Ødegaard will be playing off him. I don't know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Listen, Ødegaard's going to be in this team somewhere along the line because you don't buy him for 40 million without a plan. So he will be in this team somewhere along the line. You know what I mean? Like, because he's Arteta's man.
Yeah, he is. He is Arteta's man. And I was a bit like Shaheen. I was a little underwhelmed by the signing. He's not my favourite player yet. I'm not seeing enough goals or creativity, assists to allow him a place in this side. But Shaheen, I'll put it to you because two players we do need to mention before we kind of come to a close is, of course, Saka and Smith Rowe. Played a lot of football, these two, particularly Bukayo Saka. And I think this season he started off pretty weak, but he's always involved somehow. You know, he set up the goal again yesterday. Looks to be a real menace and a threat to some of the players. But I've got to bring up one of my favourite players at the moment, and that's Emil Smith Rowe. I just love everything about this kid. There's so much he can do. At this age, I haven't seen anyone this good for a long time that can do so much with the ball. And I think he's quite different to Saka. They're quite different players, but they kind of need each other. You saw a typical example yesterday for me of Smith Rowe coming. Hi,
No, Dave.
That was random.
So, nice for you to join us.
Nice of you to pop in. I think with Smith Rowe, he put that ball through to Pepe, and there was just no telepathy there. There was just not an understanding. Pepe had just come on, and if it was literally just as Saka come off. Now, if that ball would have gone through to Saka, I think it would have been a probably different story. I would be running down on goal. So for me, these two kids need each other, and it's great to see them both in the team. So what can you tell me about these two kids here?
Emil Smith Rowe's ball control is really, really superb. Do I dare and say he reminds me of a very, very young Argentinian forward that has now developed to be a world-class player. It's as if the ball is glued to his feet and he can control it very well. And now don't forget, this is an extremely young guy. And the biggest compliment I can pay to both of them, right, is they don't look out of place. They look as if they are part of the team. Saka is turning 20, and he's a regular for Arsenal Football Club. He's got the number 7 shirt. And that just shows how highly people think of them in the coaching staff and fans. So do I. They keep in, I wouldn't say a £70 million player, but they keep in a established international player who we paid a lot of money for out of the team. Odegaard is out. Martinelli is out. Pepe is out. Right? Why? Because these two boys are performing so well that they can't be dropped. They cannot be dropped. They got an opportunity. They grabbing the opportunity. They put in performances. Emil Smith Rowe, ball control, fantastic. Both of them committed to the cause. Vision, commitment, energy, passion. The whole thing, it's there. You can see it. And it's very difficult for a manager to drop them now. And I agree with you. They need each other, and they need to cool all the heads around them as well sometimes to kind of control them. Thomas Partey, Aubameyang, I see them. They speak to them quite a lot. Drop back, press. And this pressing is something that they recently started to do as well. And it's really working because they've got energy. They're young. Emil Smith Rowe, Saka, they can press on the side. So they credit to the Hale End Academy and they are credit to the Arsenal Football Club. The only thing that worries me about them, Dan, and I don't know if this is too early to say or not, but this is my opinion, so I'll say it, is if we keep not qualifying for the European Championship, for Champions League rather, for Europa League, and we're not really challenging with the teams that we should be mixing it with, and a big team comes knocking on the door, you know, the likes of Emil Smith Rowe and Saka, they might be thinking, right, I've come through Arsenal. I've played here quite well. I've given them, quite a lot of my time already. But now, in order for me, Saka or Smith Rowe, to develop to a next step and become a better player, I need to be playing with better players, i.e., play in the Champions League, play in a title-winning team. And that's the only thing that worries me about these guys. It may be a bit early for that, but it's just there at the back of my mind that if we stay where we are and someone comes knocking, it will be a problem.
And I can see why you think that, and I really can. And I'd be more worried with Martinelli, Gabriel, maybe even Kieran Tierney, as much as I hate to see those three players go. I just think with Smith Rowe and Saka that it will probably be towards their late 20s that they decide, because they might look back and go, do you know what? I've done 10 years now at the Arsenal and it hasn't quite worked out for me trophy-wise. I need to go and win stuff. I think potentially with the other names I've mentioned, they might do it in a couple of years and think, actually, I'm good enough to go and play for PSG now or for Man City or wherever it be. So I think with Smith Rowe and Saka, because they've been the HLM boys, I think they want to give us a little bit more time. So I'm hoping that is the case anyway. But you make great points there as to why that would worry me 100%. The other thing I'll say, and Lee, I'll bring this to you, Smith Rowe and Saka's performances, I actually think they've been better because of Thomas Partey and Lokonga's partnership. I don't know if you would agree with that, but I think them in the middle there has allowed the freedom for Saka and Smith Rowe with this new formation. And it's not because I'm not a lover of Granit Xhaka. I actually really do prefer Lokonga and Partey as a partnership in there. But I think, excuse me, Saka and Smith Rowe moving forward just seems to be a little bit more freedom with Partey playing so well next to Lokonga. What's your thoughts on that, mate?
Yeah, I think once you've got a solid base of defence, it can then allow the players to play a little bit. That's why someone mentioned, Paul Merson, comparing Smith Rowe to Paul Merson a little bit, because at the end of the day, you're allowed to do your attacking things because you know that defensively we're a little bit more solid, and I think that's happened in the last couple of games. You can see that, and you've got Partey and Lokonga covering in those sort of areas as well. Listen, Smith Rowe and Saka played fantastically well against Spurs when Xhaka was playing in there as well. So I don't think that it's necessarily that. I think that it's the whole thing. But I think that there's, which would be lovely if you're at that age as a kid, and you know that the manager's got the confidence to play you every week and let you go and do your stuff. And that's what's happening at the moment. They're playing really, really well. And you know what? At this stage of their careers, it's not. They won't be desperate for trophies. I know that sounds silly. What happens when you get into the first team? When you play, you just want to get into the first team play. After about a year, 6 months, then you think into yourself, now you're established, you want to win things. But at this moment in time, it's about establishing themselves in the first team, making sure they get game time. They're getting that at this moment in time. And I also think with the team spirit at the moment, they must be loving it all. I don't know if anybody see it on Benjamin White's Instagram, the coach going home and they're all singing the Saka and Smith Rowe song. All the players are singing it, do you know what I mean? On the coach on the way home. So, listen, that's special. That's special, and they're doing it at the club that they've come through the ranks for. That is a little bit more. So when you actually want to leave and find it, that's why I think a lot of people found the Ashley Cole one a lot harder to take than probably Robin van Persie, because it was coming through the ranks. So I think that when you actually do leave Arsenal, coming through the ranks is a little bit tougher. So I don't think you should abuse that situation, but ultimately give them what they want. But at this moment in time, they're playing some good stuff, and they'll be not in their thought process. For me now, Smith Rowe will be looking, I think, next week to see what squads he's going to be in on the England thing. I think that'd be an important thing for me. I don't see anybody playing better than him at the moment, but as Gareth Southgate says, it's all about performances in the Premier League. Well, we'll wait and see about that when he picks Harry Kane next week and doesn't pick somebody else and whatever. So, which totally will go against the grain of what he says as a manager. Because I think at this moment in time, Smith Rowe does deserve. I'll tell you what, this now, I don't want Smith Rowe, selfishly, from my point of view as an Arsenal fan, playing under 21s for 2 games and wasting his time there. Well, he's too good for the under 21s now, and he shouldn't be playing in that. So hopefully he'll be involved in the England squad, and I think deservedly so. So and I tell you what, people have said that Saka's not been playing that well. Played very well yesterday. I thought he was brilliant for that first half. He caused all sorts of problems. Retained the ball. Good. I tell you what, Saka's got over Smith Rowe at the minute. He's got a little bit better end product, like that little final ball and all that. There are a couple of times Smith Rowe does the wrong options at the moment. That's because he's not a year younger in his development than Saka, even though he's older than Saka. Saka's had that bit more experience. So I think that, listen, I'm loving what I'm seeing of him. That goal yesterday, by the way, I've seen many of them at the stands. Cool, calm, collected, knew exactly what he was doing. I think they're 2 wonderful, wonderful players, and we're lucky to have them.
Yeah, we are massively lucky to have him.
It's been a while, Lee, that we've had a midfield player arrive late in a box and score a goal, and that's exactly what Emil Smith Rowe did.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I actually think his end product's better than Saka's. I think Saka's end product's pretty poor, if I'm honest with you. I think that's one
I
thing
agree
he
with
definitely.
you, Dan.
Yeah, I think that's one thing he could definitely improve. Is that 4 goals now for
Well,
Smith Rowe?
hold on a minute. Look at that run yesterday. The run yesterday for the goal, plays it nicely into Lacazette. You know what I mean? The little
No,
thing.
I'm talking about goals, not assists. I'm
Oh
talking about goals.
He's got that's something that he's got to improve on. He's finishing as far as the goal finishing. Yeah, I think Smith Rowe's got the edge on him on that. I do. Yeah,
that's what I'm getting at. I think in terms of goals, Smith Rowe looks to be improving on his game. And he said in training that he wants
100 appearances Saka's already had. I think it was his 100th appearance yesterday. Unbelievable.
It is unbelievable. And 2 unbelievable talents. Yeah, it's scary. It is scary. And I don't want to give these 2 kids stick at all because I think they've been absolutely wonderful, both of them. But they can certainly improve their game, 100%. Guys, before we wrap up, I want to try and get an understanding of where we're at currently. So, Shaheen, let's start with you, and I'll let lead judges have the last word. A lot of people predicting around top 6 this year on average from what people are saying. What are your thoughts, and has your opinion changed over the last few games, Shaheen? What do you think?
My opinion of the team or the manager?
Both.
My opinion of Mikel Arteta has not changed because I think he should get assessed at the end of season and see where we finish, how we finish, how long we can keep this good momentum going. Having said that, I'm very happy with the last 2 games. I feel we're playing more fluent football. I feel people are more free to express themselves. We're offering more up front. We're offering a bit of fire up front now with the 2 guys. Where are we now? I think we're in a stage where the most important thing we need to do is keep the consistency going. That's all. If you can keep what you're doing consistent throughout the season, you will finish in top 4. If that's what's happening right now, right? But if we, I agree with Leah earlier that Liverpool away is not, nobody's going to go to Liverpool away and be thinking, right, we need to get 3 points here, boys. Brighton, when they got a draw, so they are beatable, but I wouldn't, if Arsenal go there and they lose with a good performance, I would accept that and I'll move on, because I don't think we're in a stage yet where we can go to places like Anfield, Etihad or Stamford Bridge and expect to get a result. I think the most important thing right now is to keep this momentum going and see where that will take us. We're starting to beat the teams that we should be beating, like Aston Villa. Leicester away was a very, very good result. I'm expecting us to beat Watford at home as well. That's one thing we should be doing. And as I said, if we can keep this going, we've got a chance in top 4 and certainly a top 6 finish. So it's all about keeping what it is going and how if Arteta is as good a manager as people are making him to be, he should be able to keep that run going.
No, fair play, Shaheen. I'm totally with you, mate. Spot on. Big up to Daniel Bailey TV. I hope you're well, Daniel. Thanks so much for your kind donation. Says great show tonight, lads. Keep up the good work. Thank you, Daniel.
Daniel.
Lee, let's come to you. Same question, mate. Where are you at? Are you changing your prediction as to where we may finish in the league, and how are things going for you at the moment, mate, in terms
No,
of manager?
I'll tell you where I'm at this moment in time. I'm going to go to Liverpool in a couple of weeks' time. Looking forward to it, feeling that we've got a chance. Not saying that we're going to win. I feel that we've got a chance. Like we're going to Man City a few weeks ago, whenever it was, no chance whatsoever. And it just wrote it off. I feel that we've got a chance of getting something at Liverpool. Whether we will or we won't, I don't know. But I'm going to go up there with a bit of optimism. And that is what Arsenal have done to me over these last 2 months, if you like, since we come back after that Man City, since August. We've been unbeaten. I think it's a massive game on Sunday. We need to win that one to keep ourselves in that top 5-6. Then we go to Liverpool with a free hit. As far as I'm concerned, I won't be judging no one on that game there. Whatever will be, will be. I hope we give it a good go, like Brighton did the other day. Look at Brighton, what they've done here. You know, I'm sure Brighton will come away from their fans very, very proud of the fact that they're giving them a right good go. And that's what you've got to do. And that's what I want Arsenal to do. So I've got no expectations at this moment in time. I'm enjoying what I'm seeing at the moment. The last 2 games I bloody loved then. I've absolutely loved the last 2 performances. But I didn't love the one at Crystal Palace. But what I've liked about it since then is that we changed our approach, and I've liked that. There's been a change. And I've liked that. And long may it continue. So let's get the result against Watford next week. Let's win that game, and then we can go into the international break and have a nice little break, and then we can come back, and then we go again against Liverpool. And if we can keep the unbeaten run going, fantastic. But I'll tell you what, I'm going to go to Liverpool with a little bit more optimism than I did a few weeks ago, and that's where I feel I am at this moment in time. And at this moment, I'm going to say this now, at this moment in time, I can walk about the streets of the Tottenham area and be proud to say that I'm an Arsenal fan.
Absolutely, mate. And we couldn't do that a few weeks ago, so that is the bonus. Where am I at? I am still in the same opinion, because the last 2 games, for me, don't prove that we are changed, turned around. But what it certainly does prove to me is that we're going in the right direction, and that's all I want to see is progress. I told this manager, that everyone about this manager, saying that what he can do for me is to try and prove me wrong, to show some consistency, and that's where I'm at right now. Show me some consistency and some consistent wins. Go and beat Watford, go and beat Newcastle, and don't embarrass us at Old Trafford or Anfield, and I'll be happy. Because let's be honest, there's some very difficult games coming up. Everton's going to be tricky away, Liverpool's going to be tricky away, as is Old Trafford, and we've got to go to those 3 with performance that we're proud of. Whether we get 3 points or not is by the by. We need to go there with a good performance, and what I'm seeing is good performances and wins at the moment, and I'm really happy. I still think we'll be in and around 6th, 7th or 8th. I don't quite know where we'll finish. Of course, it's very early days. That's where I think we're at, and I still think a lot can happen in terms of twist and change for teams that may have different managers by the end of the season. But where I'm at right now is that I want to see some consistent performances. I'm really enjoying what I'm seeing with this Arsenal side. I like the new formation. I like the players individually, and I like the way they're playing as a team. And that is credit to the manager, credit to the new signings that have come in, and credit to the way we're playing currently. So that is where I am at. Guys, this has been really enjoyable as ever. Thank you to everyone for watching. There's been just under 800 of you watching live tonight. Absolutely fantastic. Great interaction in the chat as well. Thank you all for your super chats. Please like and subscribe to this video if you haven't done so already in this channel. Head over to the Arsenal Lounge where you can join Shaheen. Shaheen, thank you so much for joining us tonight, mate.
Man. Thank you for having us. It's been long overdue, as Mr. Judges knows, but I'm very, very happy and very grateful to be here. I love your channel. I watch it, and we always have, obviously, Lee. We should have you on sometime as well, Dan, over to the Arsenal Lounge. Yeah, and just we don't do as much shows as you guys. We do 1 or 2 a week, but fantastic to be here.
No, mate, thank you so much for coming on. You're always
Pleasure.
welcome, mate. So thank
Pleasure.
you. And if you haven't done so already, guys, please go subscribe to Arsenal Lounge and head over to the Highbury Squad because I'm going to be on there on a pre-recorded show that we've done, Get Off the Potsy, which is something I'm going to be doing every month with Sophie. Real good episode that's come out now. So head over to the Highbury Squad because it is now available for you to watch. Lee Judges, thank you very much, sir.
No worries. No worries. I enjoyed that. As I say, I've not been well today, like, you know what I mean? So, but that was good. I feel a little bit better today. Thanks, Sinead, for coming on. Like, you know,
Pleasure.
listen,
Thank you for having me, man. Very grateful.
Top guys on there.
Thank
Top,
you. You're very kind.
really enjoy it, and I love my time on there as well. So,
Thank you.
if you haven't given them a little go, have a little look and follow the Arsenal Lounge because they're top guys.
You're
Absolutely.
too kind, Mr. Judges.
100%. Guys, thank you so much. Please make sure that you support our sponsor. Head over to Sally's Artwork. Link is in the description. Order some designs and you can put them up on your walls because that's what me and Lee are going to be doing. Head over to Highbury Squad now. If you can do, that'd be fantastic. Hit a like and sub on their channel. Also, support all of our Arsenal family podcasts. Until then, we will see you next time, guys. Up the Arsenal.